Yes? What do you want to know? No, it's not a particularly mystic.
The lieutenant adjusts his collar. It doesn't look like he wants...
Good.
Our tenant, please.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living. So I asked them to accommodate me. But until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can. So, what will it be, officer? Oh? Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Hello. Isn't this a fine morning? Hello. Sure. What's on your mind? Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel, like...
Yes. To lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinaise was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. But of course...
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and complex wax painting on a single pane of glass. Nothing, just the edge of the crack sparkles in the dark. There may have been a writing here, but you can't.
Oh, hey, Wade. There's coffee in the...
The shaggy-haired girl.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean. Shoot. This is a portable recording device. It's for field recording. Low quality, but still. Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone. A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like this ice. The mic? I don't exactly know. Somehow it doesn't pick up vibrations from the air. The book said it only picks up same place I got the recorder from, the Elysium. Oh man, you haven't been to the Elysium? It's the coolest place in this whole drug-addled shithole. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock. Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck.
Thinking about it really cheers her up. It's a long way from here, though.
Yeah, there might be some. I don't think they look down on the homosexual underground there. The Elysium's not that kind of place. It's cool. That's real cool. Hope you don't mind missing out on all that great homosexual content the world has got to offer. Now, we were talking about my contact mic. Oh yeah, guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck, or really be a Elysium going kind of person. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either.
She breathes on her fingers. Looks like she doesn't know what to say.
Sucks, man. Was there something else? About the contact mic, perhaps? Okay. My associates? I haven't got much to say about them. Sorry. I just don't tell people about my friends and who they...
To the cops.
Me? I'm a silver bird. Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but...
Hi again. So, how are things going? And? What happened? Oh man, the crab man you mean? Who is he? What did you think? Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him? I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till... Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her? But she's in there somewhere. Has to be. Have you tried investigating the machines? Anyway, do let us know if you see her. Oh yeah, that's a meteor and name for the founding party. Thought it...
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagoguery.
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know? I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organisation. Yes? Yes. What? Yeah, good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even has running water. Oh! It's the one they sell at the fuel station.
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved. Okay, so the Speed Freaks want to start a club for dance music. That much checks out. Youths like music. You feel as though you might have liked music more when you... Indeed. So one of them came upon the abandoned church. They want to turn it into a club for dance music, but agents of narcomania have overrun it. You shudder to think of all the narco they must have already consumed in there. Narco is bad. Plus, and it has to be considered, you can't invent the future of dance music in this smelly old tent. Imagine if you had the church. That settles it. Analysis complete. Their story checks out. It still feels as if this didn't quite go as it should have, but...
As always, we'll be right here.
A young man with peroxide blonde hair holds up a Harman Welshi tape player, nodding along to the music, as though you're supposed to be sharing some tremendous
Hardcore! Hardcore! Hardcore to the mega! Here comes the night!
Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking path? The young man...
This is hardcore! It's hardcore! Skibber-dee, skibber-danger!
Your cop training did not prepare you for...
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid. Good. It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people before you get a reading. Yeah, gotta compare. See if we can align. See? Our signs are way off. I can already tell this social relationship is gonna take a lot of work. Yeah, I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our sign synchronisation is way off. I'll see what I can do. A sticker? You mean the yellow one? Can you describe it to me? Good, good. What did you want to know? Yes, you're the 23rd person to get it right, and I've asked 23 people. Looks like it's a dead guy smiling to the entire human race. Really? He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always already dead. How can we have the present moment and life are the hardcore? The hardcore expels death. Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats.
Or drugged out of his mind, come to think of it. He blinks, waiting for the next question.
I guess one could write an entire treatise on the thing. But what for? Nah. Still strongly out of sync. You heard me. The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed with the law at this moment.
It's not easy to reach a harmonic resonance of signs without some adjustment.
Yes, further sign matching would do good for us. One way to achieve this would be by getting it.
A pane of Eternite has been planted into the snow. The pane falls into the icy snow with a soft thunk.
Yes? What about me? No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. The eyebrow is exercising psy.
Something the matter, detective?
This guy's got authority off the charts. With just the flick of his eyebrow, he's able to make you nothing. You better hope he doesn't abuse his authority. There's a lot of it. If the lieutenant were an Eve, fortunately, he is a committed officer of the RCA. The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of.
Good. Let's change.
Hello. What can I do for you?
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. There's a bit. Life is garbage.
Shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100% guaranteed.
That's one brutal motor carriage.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, like, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads.
Yeah, tribal shit.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you man.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These young men seem eager to share their beliefs.
What about them? Well, first off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, what I mean by this is, we are all piss and that the world...
That much is true.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase, the hollowness, to catch a fish you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. You get more fish in a shorter time. And for time is of the essence, because when one fucks everything...
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, he's got a point. Is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops?
Yes? What is? What are you implying? I'm not sure I understand you, Detective. Neither. Fine, if only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the two statements. Seems about right, especially considering your heroic exit attempts.
So are we done here? Or... you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
These guys aren't scary. You're not scary. I have nothing to work with.
Why? Yeah, like he said, total shit.
You didn't say that. The lieutenant looks down at his bomber jacket and shrugs, obviously content with his uniform.
Fine. Fuck it. Here. Take it then. I can't handle it.
It's true. You simply can't. Wow. I did not see that coming.
Fuck that. You're not getting mine. My dad's a lawyer in
No, he won't.
The lieutenant is lightly amused by the situation.
I'm absolutely okay with not having one. I already am expressing my individuality. If you say so.
Look at this cute shit. How can we become skulls if you go around fraternizing with cops? Let's get the
fuck. I'm sorry, man. I just don't like confrontations, that's all. Kuno care? So?
You should thank him.
Yeah, so? Kuno did say...
Kuno sent your fat ass...
Look, Pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened.
Good idea.
You got fucked. You got fucked, Pig. Fucked bad. Of course you're gonna remember this after this shit. You better have...
Yeah, real interesting.
The fuck about it? You're testing Kuno...
Get lost,
Yeah? Yeah, whatever. Kuno...
I'll die before I squeal. What's this kid?
Get the fuck out of...
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? By love, you did.
She is memorizing your badge number.
Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I am glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation... What can I help you with, Lieutenant Freighter? More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
What is all of this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage.
A frisson lifts the hair on the back of your arm. Wind sweeps the surface of the bay.
The world is a suzerainty of Revachol.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more Elysium. It does. There are those who would call it a term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists. Oh, you want a picture of the world? Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside. We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower island.
ORG, Occident Revachol.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona. Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, But if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound. You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it. See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in...
The cold seeps into you, the air. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
The Pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. We do have a case to attend to.
His voice is low, but firm. All she...
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else. I don't think your colleague would appreciate that. He has already been... Let's continue with something else, all right? You can ask about anything else in the world.
But she wants to tell you. This is not going to happen with the lieutenant present, unless you can convince him to step aside. Good idea. Just ask him. He won't make a scene.
Fine.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant. Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass. Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde. Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
The negation of being.
That's right. The negation of being. Oh, it is so difficult for us. It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude. bouncing radio. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost or having our minds damaged. No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer. An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor, marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. The most disco thing you will ever see.
You hear your pulse rise. The air feels caustic and cold suddenly.
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible, extensively. Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading. That it's rarefied past, not rarefied They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of...
Who says and who argues?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
No, Lieutenant Dubois. I'm entreprenetic business class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually. Up to my gills, officer. Entreprenetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E-Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then.
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft, hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely. Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping. What do you think, Detective? Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists. Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations, I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
One and all. They say Pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything? Beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale? Mm-hmm. You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then... Your colleague, Lieutenant Kisaragi, is competent. I checked up on him. And you have me. I will try to assist you in any way I can.
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you.
Even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now? Yes, well, the rest of us have dealt with it for thousands of years, so...
You will have to deal with it, too, the lieutenant thinks. This is why I didn't want you to know.
I am happy to oblige. Glad to have been of assistance.
Yes?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffiti. There is a hollow. Your toe has suffered.
Cool. You really showed that mail collection.
He does not actually think it's cool. If anything, the lieutenant pats the box. Dodged the bullet there. He must see the box as the weaker of the two, and you as a...
I've got nothing to say to you.
The clowns are still hanging around. What is it now?
Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
10-4, come in. Fireworker, over. Roger that.
Hey, was there something you needed? Got the 20 real? Then why are you wasting my time?
The man ponders his cooking. He looks up at, shrugging his internet.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
A colourful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. Here you go, mister.
To the left of a small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
the tear machines.
Your race descent has temporarily halted, but you will fall again. I am not the hard. Now leave. Rusting control panel. You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
You attempt to turn to your left. The lieutenant considers you, and as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with rhetoric. Maybe.
Oh, hey, mister. I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like we talked about before. I know you're probably... Oh, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the... Of course, mister. I'm more than happy to be helpful. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
The containers in the yard are green in wild pines. It's like some red infection was spreading outwards from the container yard's core.
No, not really. Mr. Everett doesn't tell me all the big things. Says I go and tell them to everyone. No, not really.
Yes, they are hiding it from the inside. All the red containers have the Debarders Union logo on them.
Oh, no trouble at all, mister. Yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr... Actually, Miss Beaufort...
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dip, but I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so...
Stay on this Miss Beaufort topic.
Oh, Lizzie, she is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything.
He respects that.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood.
For a fraction of a second.
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't. Dr. Lemaitre said so. And she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years.
Law school? Could she be talking about the union?
Looks like it.
I'm not sure what...
Telling the gardener you know.
Mr. Dubois, the word in Martinez is a certain police officer is once again happily... I prefer my police officers old-fashioned like that, with a gun. You can do so many things with a gun that you can't do without one. Now, what can I help you with? My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them. Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have a...
Smooth talking?
My. She's quite the looker, Harry. You can't imagine... Tell me, was it difficult to convince the pigs to give it up? I knew you could handle it. I know my special policeman. Anyway, I'm glad you're all right and armed again, Harry. Now, what can Everett Clare do? Let's hear it, Harry. Of course, Harry, of course. I'm always happy to educate and entertain you. I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead. Why, a war of...
And what do you have to...
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they eat. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're... Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait, is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them.
The roads, the gates.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce...
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. It's already happening. 2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable, and they're all well motivated. At least the ones you've seen.
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace...
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to...
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical... All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad. Has bad optics. Maybe we're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his benefit.
And the kids on the street can get
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the thing. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez. Oh, Harry, you've misunderstood. I have no drugs in my hands. It's all far removed from me, like some half-remembered dream. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is, but a small part of Martinez. Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body.
Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it.
No, Harry. That's boring. All right, it's gone. The hypothetical raw materials trade is off the table. It's such a small and insignificant... Boys. Harry felt queasy about it. We're not doing it. Can we talk about my beautiful incorporated Martinez and its many-sided business ventures now? This bold new vision of incorporated socialism I'm offering? Harry, the length you're willing to go to keep your nose clean is remarkable. You will always have a warm bed in Mr. Clare's household, my friend, and a special place in the future of Martinez. Very nice, Harry. Is there any...
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. I knew we could trust you. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that